Let's begin. Today's December 7th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's all-even criteria cards include criteria cards 8, 14, 16, 18, and 20, and the puzzle uses the blue verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 5 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, and finally criteria card E. So criteria card A takes a look at our 3-digit solution, and the Turing machine will let us know how many ones there are. Are there no ones? Is there a single one? Perhaps 2, maybe even all 3 are 1. Criteria card B will take a look at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, and the Turing machine will let us know which one is the absolute smallest. Should triangle be the smallest? Should square be the smallest? Or should circle be the smallest? Criteria card C will again take a look at our 3-digit solution, except this time the Turing machine will inform us a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. Are there more even than odds, or should there be less even than odds? Criteria card D will again take a look at our 3 digits, triangle, square, and circle, add them up, and the Turing machine will let us know the sum total is an even quantity or an odd quantity. And finally, criteria card E again takes a look at our 3 digits, but this time it'll let us know a little bit about the structure of the solution. Should the solution have no repetitions, as in the example 125, or could it be that the solution has a double number, as in the example 112, or could it be a triple number, a single digit repeated 3 times? And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 5 criteria cards that we just described. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. Now, I will say before we begin this puzzle, it is a bit curious that none of the cards are really comparing digits among themselves. Maybe the closest might be criteria card B, where we are identifying which is the smallest, but otherwise there's no kind of comparison to kind of choose. So I just thought that was rather unusual. I don't know if I've maybe just never paid attention before, but this may be one of the few puzzles where there's no comparison among the digits. We'll see how that plays out. Well, the first thing that I would like to test, though, is criteria card C. Okay, so the Turing machine does not approve of my choice of proposal 314. Notice that I do have 2 odds to a single even, and since the Turing machine does not approve of that, basically the Turing machine is informing us that in fact there should be more even than odds. Well, let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section C, and we will say that there are more even than odds. And so, again, what that basically means is we have at least a minimum of 2 evens and a single odd, or we could be looking at an all-even solution. Well, let's test criteria card D next. Okay, so again, the Turing machine does not approve. Notice that criteria card D, we are adding up the digits. Well, let's go ahead and do that. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 is an even quantity, but the Turing machine does not agree with that. So again, the Turing machine is informing us that the sum total should actually be odd. Well, let's go ahead and type that up in our notes. And that again is in section D. And that is that triangle plus square plus circle should be an odd quantity. And what can we say? Well, with combination of what the result was for criteria card C, remember we do have a minimum of 2 evens. Well, if you add those 2 evens up, that sum total thus far would be even. But if we want the sum total to be an odd, we need to introduce an odd. So what we're looking for is a solution that has 2 evens and 2 evens and a single odd. And of course we do have criteria card A, querying how many ones. Well, at this point it's either 0 or 1. And if it's not 1, then it must be either a 3 or a 5. And let's see. Well, we also have criteria card E letting us know there are repetitions. Well, if there are going to be any repetitions, it would be 2 evens and or not. So it could either be a 2-4 with an odd, or a double 2 or double 4 with an odd. But I think because we're really not comparing too many of these digits, I think the best criteria card to test would be criteria card B, trying to see which is the smallest. Well, let's go ahead and test B. Okay, so square is definitely not the smallest. So that means that either triangle or circle are. Well, let's go ahead and type that up in our notes for section B. And that, again, will say that triangle or circle, one or the other, must be the smallest. Okay, so what that means is that I think we can eliminate square 1, because if square were 1 and it's not the smallest, I don't know what else could be smaller than 1. So I think we can only cross out the single square value. We can't I don't think we can cross out any 5s because, again, we don't have enough information. We do know that we have a single odd, and we'll see if it's a 1 or a not. Okay, well, very interesting start for sure. We have completed our 3 Turing tests. We're now going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. Well, again, we did not query criteria card A, inquiring how many 1s there might be. And the smallest is still outstanding. And then there's also the issue of whether there are any duplicates or not. Well, my gut feeling is that maybe, well, let's see. If we don't know if we have a pair. But if we do have a pair, it would be true that the odd, the one that's not paired up, must be the smallest. But since we don't know if we have a pair or not, it's hard to eliminate possibilities. But let's entertain the possibility that we have a pair. So if we had a pair and the smallest would have to be odd, it could be that, again, maybe triangle or circle might be the smallest. But if that were the case, how would you pick between a pair of 2s and a pair of 4s? Of course, criteria card B is going to let us know which one is the smallest, so therefore the other 2 would be paired up. It could be that if there are no 1s, then that would mean that the 3 would have to be the smallest, and therefore forcing the pairs to be 4s. Obviously, you can't have an odd 5 be the smallest. So that seems to be the most plausible because, again, if there was a 1, you wouldn't be able to pick between 2 and 4. And as I mentioned at the top of the video, there's really no comparison. So most of these digits will have to be forced. So I really do believe that it's going to be an odd 3 and a pair of 4s. That's the only, plausible solution that I can think of. Because I think there would be too many possibilities with, a 2, a 4, and a 1 or a 3 that you'd have to sort through. But there's no way to compare any of these digits. So, I am thinking about a pair of 4s and a 3. And so either the triangle is going to be 3 or the circle is going to be 3. So let's go with 3, 4, 4 as our second round proposal. So just to verify, either the first or the last is the smallest. Yeah, I picked the first one, the triangle. There are more evens. The sum is odd. So everything does meet what we tested earlier. But going forward, I am thinking that there are not going to be any 1s, and there's going to be a pair. So if there are no 1s, that forces the odd to be a 3, can't be a 5, and that would mean that the smallest is odd, therefore the pairs are even. Okay, well, let's give that a try. Okay, so let's go ahead and test criteria card A, because I think that would eliminate the majority or a lot of digits. So let's go ahead and test A. And yes, it is true. The Turing Machine approves of the absence of any 1s. So let's go ahead and type that up, and we'll say that the solution has no 1 digit. Okay, so that means that again, there are no 1s, and again, as I stated, well, I was anticipating crossing out the 5s. I have not. The only way I could do that is if there's a pair. So at this point, I cannot cross out the 5s. I was hoping to, but no, that would be premature. So all we can say is that there are no 1s. Well, yeah, we can't say anything about the smallest. So at this point then, let's go ahead and test criteria card E. And yes, it is true that there is a pair of digits. It's a double number. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in criteria card E. And we'll say that the solution is a double number, which means that, yes, it's true, our majority of evens are paired up. So now we can say, there's no way any of the digits, triangle, square, or circle, could be 5, because the smallest has to be that odd digit. It's not paired up, and so the odd has to be the smallest. And now it's a matter of figuring out which of triangle and circle is that odd. And actually, I probably should have crossed out the 2s while I was at it, because again, there's no odd smaller than 2, so I should have crossed it out. Okay, so let me go ahead and cross out the 2s. And so, yeah, we have a 3, which will be the smallest, and then the pair of 4s. So, yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card B again. And no, okay, so triangle is not the smallest. In my proposal, 3 is the smaller of the 2 digits, but that means that, yeah, triangle is not the smallest. Therefore, in fact, circle should be the 3. So let's go ahead and cross out the 3 in triangle, establishing the 4, and circle as well. And let's cross out the 4 for circle, since it is supposed to be the smallest. So yeah, so it looks like our solution should be 443. Okay, well, let's do a quick review. So yeah, our solution does not have any 1s. That's true. Circle, the last digit is the smallest. It is. Yes, yeah. For some, I was reviewing criteria card B to see which one's the smallest. Yeah, 1 failed, and square failed and triangle failed. So yeah, circle should be the smallest. We did the Turing Machine informed us that there should be more evens. There are. The sum total is odd, and we do have a pair. Okay, so yeah, that looks like our winner. So let's go ahead and type that up and verify that 443 is indeed correct. Oops, I didn't type anything at all. There we go, 443. Okay, there we go. Yes, that's correct. So fantastic. Well, how do we do versus a Turing machine? Well, it is a 5 criteria card puzzle, and we did do 6 tests, but I think we did okay. Well, let's find out. We did do BCD in the first round, all incorrect, and then we did ABE in the second, and our smallest was incorrect twice. So let's go ahead and type that up. So BCD were all incorrect, and then A was correct, but the smallest failed twice, and we got E correct. Okay, so we did tie it. So, but a tie is a win, so that was great. I will say, though, that as I mentioned at the top of the video, it did seem a bit interesting that none of the criteria cards were comparing anything to a particular value or even to themselves. Maybe with the exception, again, criteria card B, we're trying to figure out which one's the smallest. But please add any notes in the comments if you've ever encountered such a puzzle. I thought that was very interesting, and it definitely helped out. That observation, I believe, did help out in choosing the criteria cards that I did to a certain extent, or at least anticipating, any possible options. Well, what about you? What criteria cards did you pick? Did your choices reveal anything interesting that you'd like to share? Add those thoughts to the comments. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find the channel. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe to not miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.